Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about the methods of contraception. Here we are going to first learn about six different methods, of which the first is natural method, then comes the barrier method, taking of oral pills which can be hormonal as well as non-steroidal. Then comes the IUD which is also known as intrauterine contraceptive device. Then comes the injection or implants, which is a very useful and efficient emergency contraceptive. And lastly, it is surgical method. Of all these six, you will find that this is the only one which is irreversible, and so we also call it as sterilization technique. Before we start, we should always remember there are few features that an ideal contraceptive possesses. The first is it should be easily available. Second is it should be reversible. And the third, it should be effective. And fourth, it should be inexpensive so that any person can afford for that. So these are some of the ideal features. If we start first with natural method, remember in the natural method there are three different ways. The first is periodic abstinence. Periodic abstinence is in the female, when the menstruation occurs, the menstruation cycle is of 28 days. Of the 28 days, the day 10 till day 17, which is around the ovulation period, is having maximum chances of conception. That is why that is called as the fertile period. Fertile period. Now, of this 10 to 17th day, if during this period a coitus is had between this time period, the chances of conception is maximum. That is why if naturally a couple wants to avoid pregnancy, they can always avoid this time period. Periodic method, since it depends upon the dates, we also call it as calendar method. Next is called as coitus interruptus. So when the coitus occurs, we know next step after the insertion of penis is ejaculation, release of the semen in the female reproductive tract. So in order to avoid pregnancy, what could be done is withdrawal of penis right before insemination could occur. The penis has to be withdrawn. And the third one is called as lactational amenorrhea. Now we know one more thing, that during the lactation period, that means right after pregnancy, right after the parturition has occurred, the period of around 3 to 4 months when intense lactation occurs, during that period the secretion of prolactin is very high, and as a result of that the level of progesterone, and not only the progesterone but GnRH, the hypothalamus secretes GnRH, so gonadotropin releasing hormone, the secretion is quite low, as a result of which it is not showing any menstruation, any ovulation. So this time period is safe enough for coitus. But always keep in mind, none of the natural methods are completely reliable, because the first and the third, if we talk about, we are not sure when the body can again restore its mechanism. There could be variation in the menstrual cycle and the days of lactation. Here body can anytime come restore its regular rhythm of secretion of hormones. Also coitus interruptus does not guarantee the success of the contraception. Next is barrier method. Barrier method is, in case of males and females, it is meant for avoiding the physical fusion of the sperm and the ovum. So for that, in case of males, condoms are used, and in case of females, diaphragm could be used, cervical cap could be used. These substances are made up of rubber or latex. And not only this, in some cases, even spermicidal creams, jellies, and foams could also be used. That is mainly meant for avoiding the physical fusion of the gametes. Next comes the IOD. Okay, one more thing that can be added over here. Barrier method serves dual purpose. It is because it not only helps in providing contraception, but at the same time, it is preventing the contraction of STD, that is sexually transmitted disease. Any kind of RTI, reproductive tract infection, or the sexually transmitted disease can be avoided by using barrier method. So this is one of the safest method, although it is not 100% effective, but it usually helps in this two different ways. Next comes IUD, intrauterine device. As the name says, intrauterine. So there is something that has to be placed in the uterus. Now this could be of three kinds. One is a non-medical preparation. Non-medical IUD, usually in this a plastic loop is introduced in the uterus. The presence of this loop is triggering an immune response. So as a result of that, the release of macrophages increase, and this macrophages, whenever the sperm enters, is going to carry out phagocytosis, and thereby it causes killing of the sperms, not allowing pregnancy or conceiving. So the example of non-medical IUD is lipase loop. Remember, the examples are very important for one marker questions. Next, the copper releasing IUDs, which is very commonly used. Also remember, this is one of the most commonly and most effective ones, which is used for contraception. The copper releasing IUD, copper 7, copper T, multi-load 375, these are some of the examples. Copper has a very good role to play in causing phagocytosis of the sperms. It reduces the sperm's motility and hence does not allow the process of conceiving. No fertilization will occur and hence no conceiving. The last one is hormone releasing IUD. One among them is progestasert and the other one is LNG 20. Here, some amount of progesterone is released. Since progesterone is released, it is going to thicken the mucus secretion occurring in the uterus. And as a result of the thickened mucus, the sperms here fail to move further. So they ultimately reduce their motility and the sperms fail to fertilize. So these are some of the examples of IUD. Remember, IUDs are some of the most effective ways because this is reversible, as well as whenever a female wishes to conceive, she can get this removed and again go for pregnancy. Copper releasing IOD, copper T, copper 7, it has a lasting period for around 10 years. That means at the end of every 10 years, this has to be replaced. Progestasert has a validity of say around 1 year. After that 1 year, this has to be replaced. Okay, let us start with oral pills. This is one of the easiest way a female can try to avoid pregnancy. Oral pills are of two different kinds. One is the hormonal oral pill. Now, in the hormonal pills, what is used? Just like we expect, progesterone and estrogen. It could be a combination of these two. And it has to be taken right after 7 days. 7 days of menstruation. After 7 days of menstruation, continuously for a period of 21 days without any break. Now, since this has to be taken for such a long time period, there are chances of having some side effects also. That is why people have now moved towards another kind of oral pill which has no steroids, no hormones. This non steroidal pill is Saheli. Saheli pills are the highly recommended pills. As it does not contain any hormone, the chances of having any side effect is reduced highly. Apart from that, it has to be taken only once in a week. So this is once in a week pill. Also, there is one more important thing about it. There is an institute which developed it. It is CDRI, that is Central Drug Research Institute, which is present in Lucknow. So these are some of the examples of oral pills. Now, if in case a female wants to avoid pregnancy after having an unprotected coitus, or due to any crime related reason she has missed taking any of the previously discussed contraceptive methods, so in order to avoid that pregnancy, one emergency contraceptive which is available is this injection or implant. This is called as emergency contraceptive as it has to be taken right within 72 hours. 72 hours of the coitus. It is not much different from the oral pills. It again has composition of this progesterone and estrogen. The only difference is it is directly administered within the blood in the form of injection. So if there is any such case where the pregnancy is of unwanted kind, this works as a boon for the couple or say any female individual. Now about surgical methods. Like I said previously, this is called as sterilization technique. Why is this termed as sterilization? Because this is the only one which is irreversible. Being irreversible means once this method is undertaken, the person will not be again able to conceive. So chances of pregnancy becomes zero after this. Now here in case of males, the technique used is called as vasectomy. In fact, we can say here the transfer of gametes is blocked. The gamete is avoided from being transferred. So the vas deferens which is present in the males, see this is the vas deferens and here the testis is present. Here in the vas deferens a cut is made, or we can say it is tied up from here. Doing so will avoid the movement of sperm, and this, in order to do this, a cut is made, an incision is made in the scrotum. The next, in case of females, a similar method is used, but here the cut is made in the fallopian tube. Since the fallopian tube undergoes an incision, a cut is made over here. So there is no physical transfer of gametes from the ovary to the uterus. The transfer of gamete is stopped. These two are irreversible techniques. Apart from this, all the others are reversible. So these are some of the contraceptive methods. In the next class, we will learn about STDs. Thank you.